This is a piece by Carolyn Miller in her book Student Favorites, Book 1, and it's called Under the Shooting Stars. And I particularly love teaching it because it teaches hand position that's moving down stepwise. And she uses a lot of patterns that you can teach by rote, although you can use it also as a stepwise progression towards reading the music. So this is a way for a student to play something that seems to sound much harder than it actually is. So I'm going to play the first page, and then I'll talk about the technique for playing this piece. Okay, the piece keeps going, but I'm going to stop there because I want to talk about what's happened so far. So the first part sounds like this cascade of shooting stars. And we start in the hand position of G minor. And I put a G down in the bass while I play a descending G minor warm-up. The next hand overlaps and does the same thing. When I get back to that G, then I put my hand in what looks like a G minor chord, except instead of losing the La, I move up to the T, right like that. So I get this more edgy kind of sound. But when you're learning this piece, you can feel for the G minor chord and then shift it. Now, the fingering in hers says 1, 2, 4, but I think it's much smarter to feel the chord and then move into this. It's your choice. Then the next part is a step lower in F major. And the same thing, feel for an F major chord, but then raise that Do up to the Re. Okay, now we get interesting. We go to E flat major, and it could have been like this. However, she makes it more interesting. She instead makes it with an A natural. So then the pattern is not an A flat major position, but it's E flat, F, G, A natural, B flat, and it has more of that open sound of a star, I think. Again, I feel for the E flat major chord, but instead of the E, I'm using the F. And using that same idea, everything moves down to D position. Again, I feel the G chord, I move it up. Now, the fingering that Carolyn writes is to have the left hand play all of these notes, and then the right hand comes over in an arpeggio fashion. Well, that's really great. However, there's another way you can do it, which is you could take the first two notes with a 5 and a 1, then take this pattern, Do, Re, Mi, So, with the right hand, then the left hand repeats the pattern, Do, Re, Mi, So, and then the right hand, Do, Re, Mi, So. And so you're staying within that idea of patterns that are being repeated. And I think it kind of fits the piece better. So I'm going to do it one more time, and hopefully you can see the whole thing. Here we go. Now in F position, feel the F chord, but play that chord. Here's that E flat with the A natural. And I move to D position again. I take these two notes to the left, right hand comes and play those, left hand, and I'm back to the next part. Now, this part can be really tough for some, and so you can always alter it if you want to, and just play the G's. And then an F. Notice it's the same pattern, an E flat with that A natural. So I I'm what is doing, I'm creating the skeleton, and then I could add more and more of the left hand as I get better at it. I could add another G, and then the Fs, and then the E flats. And then when that's secure, then I can start adding in that D, which gets tricky because I've got to get it in on the 8th note pulse. So maybe I'll just do the motion going up. And then maybe I'll do the motion going down. And then finally, maybe I'll do half measures. And then maybe I'll do the other half. So there's many ways that you can move up to getting to. Now, the pedal says down the whole time. I find that a little too thick, so I would tend to not put the pedal down fully. I'm almost pedaling each one. It's just a little less draggy when I use the pedal more sparingly. That's totally up to you. And of course there are 2 more pages, and I'll do that in the next step.